Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Missionary podcast. My name is Mercy Ballard. I'm the co-founder of this channel and also the medical missionary training that we do every 3 months. Today we have a special topic. This is something that you hardly hear, especially about natural remedies, natural remedies for hyperthyroidism. So we will be talking about that because lately I heard from several people that are dealing with hyperthyroidism. So I thought this will be very helpful. And also, if you're a medical missionary, this will be very good to get familiar, to be familiar how to help people with hyperthyroidism. Especially, we're going to talk about autoimmune hyperthyroidism, and the name is Graves' disease. And that's what we will be focusing, and especially natural remedies. So we're going to start with a word of prayer. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for your goodness. Thank you because you have all the answers. So I just want to ask you that you lead us today as we do this class that will be for the sake of the many people that are suffering with this condition that is difficult to know what to do. It has so many components, and so I just want to ask you that you give us light, give us more and more knowledge about what to do with these diseases. This is an autoimmune disease that is increasing. So we just want to ask you that you please lead us so we can help many people in the world that are suffering from this condition. Ask you all this in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, I'm going to share. Okay, gonna share my screen. I had to come to the church because I'm just outside the church. The internet in the town that we live is down, so I had to rush here. Okay, so it's Graves' disease. It's hyperthyroidism linked to autoimmune disease. I just want to let you know, I do run a lifestyle center. Been doing this for 14 years, and we usually help people with autoimmune disease. So this includes Graves' disease. We so probably help very few cases of Graves' disease because it's not as prevalent as the hypothyroidism like Hashimoto, which is an autoimmune disease too. So that's why it's kind of hard to learn about this because there's not as many cases. Perhaps a lot of the people they haven't found the diagnosis. Maybe that's the problem. I'm not sure exactly, but you don't see. We have not seen many of these cases. But the people that we have try everything that we can to help, starting with the diet and decreasing triggers and things like that. Okay, so what is the incidence? And I hope you see, let's see. I'm gonna check also on YouTube to be sure I'm answering all the questions. I like to decreasing trigger. Okay, so this is the incidence, 1.2 to 1.3% of the US population. In 80 cases per 100,000. So not that many, but good enough to get ourselves educated. What are the symptoms? One of the symptoms that really bothers people a lot and is something to be really concerned is palpitations and increased heart rate. I was just speaking to somebody at the church that had, and she was telling me that her heart rate was in the 110, even resting, even when sleeping. So this is not unusual. And sometimes can be really, really fast also. It can raise it to 170. Not usually not for a long time, goes up and then goes down and usually is in the hundreds, in the low hundreds. But this is a little too fast, especially in the long term, right? You don't want to work your heart so much that then you'll be having some heart conditions in the long term. So it's very important to take care of palpitations and the fast heart rate. Another problem is going to be digestion. So it's going to be increased gut motility. So because the motility of the digestion is really fast, and so it's going to be also increase on bowel movements. It can be diarrhea, or people that usually go once a day can go 2-3 times a day. So the stools are going to be soft, or they're going to be very liquidish. So because the increase of gut motility is going to be the absorption is going to be decreased. The absorption of the nutrients is going to be decreased. People can have a pain, abdominal pain, and also they can be nauseated. Other symptoms are kidney. It can be increased urination. It can be, it's very common actually in people that are suffering from hyperthyroidism. So they're going to be going urinate very frequently, and it's not just small amounts. It's not like the bladder is irritated, because some people can suffer of that too, and they can go very often. But this is more like people go to urinate and they urinate good amounts of water. So it's causing really dehydration, because what happens with hyperthyroidism, all the organs are working extra. There is very fast metabolism. So this is the case also for kidneys. And what is going to happen? People are going to end up with dehydration. So the increase of fluid intake is going to have to increase. It's going to affect the liver also. And you will see that because the liver enzymes are going to be high. Okay, so it's going to affect the brain. So people are going to be very anxious, irritable. And if you go into a crisis, it can be even psychosis. Yeah, it is something to be concerned, something to needs to be taken care right away if you're diagnosed with hyperthyroidism. Later on, we're going to talk about how you get that diagnosis. And then we have it's going to also affect your muscles. You're going to lose muscles, lose weight. You're going to loss of bones also. So this can happen really fast. I just got a message, an email from a lady this last week, and she told me that she lost 10 pounds in 3 weeks, and that's pretty fast. And she said, I was already very slim. So for somebody, let's say that my weight is 100 pounds because I'm short, I'm 5. So if I lose 10 pounds, I'll be 90. I will be not looking good at all. Um, so losing 10 pounds in short time, it is, something needs to happen right away. You need to do something to help yourself. Then we have also, it's going to affect the pancreas, going to be insulin resistant, and so this can cause increase of your blood sugar and other issues.
So let me pause you, Mercy. I think again your full screen, your full slideshow isn't shared. I think it's just your PowerPoint application.
Oh, I really needed to know that. Okay, let me try again. How
There we
about
go.
now? Okay. Yeah, somehow this happens every time. Okay, we have also another issue. Your blood, when they do check your blood, hemoglobin can be down. Uh, of course, increase of blood sugar, your iron can be down. Also, as I say, the liver enzymes can be up. Your insulin can be increased also. So many things can be abnormal, which is very important to follow that up. Signs and symptoms. Again, so the metabolism is going to be increased, right? And this is going to be because the thyroid controls that, the metabolism to the cellular level. So the mitochondria, which is the production of energy, is overactivated, working really fast. So every organ is working really fast, and so the heart is trying to keep the demand of the oxygen to every organ, so it's really fast. So then that's why you have tachycardia. Actually, it's helping the body, but it's just wearing off your heart, which is very concerning. Having issues, serious issues with your heart. Then you also gonna have because your metabolism is so fast, you're gonna be very hungry, and you're gonna eat a lot. But even you're eating a lot, you're losing weight. And then because the metabolism is also very increased, you're gonna have a heat intolerance. Especially, it's going to be the trunk where all the organs are, not your extremities. It's gonna be the trunk that is gonna be so hot, and you're gonna feel that your legs and your arms your hands are freezing, your feet are freezing, and your body, the trunk part of the body is very hot. And also, you're gonna experience hair loss, and some people bulging eyes. And this is perhaps not that common, but it happens. Okay, this is the labs that you're gonna do. TSH is is the stimulant hormone. So this is in the brain. The thyroid, the stimulant hormone, is going to let's say if the T3, T4, which are the thyroid hormones, are so high, they're gonna be high. Let's see, they're gonna be high because it's hyperthyroidism, but the TSH is gonna be low. So when you do the labs, and if your TSH is low, very low, and the hormones like the T3, T4 are high, so that's showing that you're having issues with hyperthyroidism. But at this point, you would not know what type of hyperthyroidism. It can be autoimmune or not, unless you do more testing. So the other test for hyperthyroidism and Hashimoto, if you want to know if it is autoimmune, you're going to check the antibodies. And the antibodies here are going to be the TSI is the antibody that's going to show you if you are dealing with Graves' disease. So that's very important. And another one, the TPO usually is high in both, in hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism. And there is another, the thyroglobulin is another antibody I should add it here. Thyroglobulin, doctors usually don't order that, but it'll be good to order. That can be also high in both. That's what is confusing. But the TSI is the one that's going to determine if you're dealing with not Hashimoto, but Graves' disease. And the Hashimoto, which is a hypo, the TPO and the thyroglobulin can be high, but not the TSI. In some people, some people, I was really checking very deep into this, and some people you can be dealing with both at the same time. You can be dealing with hyper and hypo, and it's gonna be up and down, your labs. But if you're dealing with both, it's gonna show the TSI, TPO, and the thyroglobulin antibodies are gonna be high. And so then you have to be kind of treated, all of them. Some doctors could order the thyroglobulin, not the thyroid medication, and also methimazole, which is for hyperthyroidism. So this is very so confusing when somebody's dealing with hypo and hyper, because you're dealing with so much stuff. Another thing that you're gonna do, your doctor is gonna order, is gonna be CBC. Why? Because you wanna know how's your hemoglobin. And it seems like the hyperthyroidism can decrease your hemoglobin because the metabolism is so fast, and the iron can be also low. But also, low iron can be a trigger to hyperthyroidism, to Graves' disease. So either way, it's very important to know how's your hemoglobin. And if the hemoglobin is low, then you're gonna check what type of anemia you're dealing with. So then you're gonna check your iron. Usually it's iron, not necessarily iron, but it can be also the B12 is down, which is pernicious anemia. And that's another trigger also. So if the hemoglobin is low, you definitely want to check your iron, ferritin. You want to check your B12. Also, you have to check B12 either way. So that will be very important to do. B12, vitamin D. Vitamin D is going to be low. It can be a trigger of Graves' disease. So vitamin D is very important to check also. Some endocrinologists, they like to order insulin tests to see how it's affecting your pancreas, because when you're dealing with hyperthyroidism, you can have so many, it's going to affect every organ in your body, right? Because it's affecting at the cellular level. So this is going to affect every organ of your body. So the CMP is to check your liver. We want to know how's your liver, your kidney, and usually enzymes are gonna be high, some enzymes. Okay, this is the most important thing for us to learn besides managing with natural remedies. It's very important to learn how to find the triggers. We have to be able to remove the triggers, because we can have the best natural remedies of the world. If you're not removing the triggers, it's not going to solve anything. It might help you temporarily for a short time, but we really want to remove the triggers, which is super important. So the triggers here, chronic infection. Also, you're going to end up with any autoimmune disease, including Graves' disease. Mold can be a problem. If you rule out everything, it could be mold. So here, chronic infection is very, very important that your microbiome is balanced. So at this point, perhaps it's high sugar in your diet. So this has to also change to balance your microbiome. Now, leaky gut is also another trigger. Leaky gut, because this is going to be linked with anemia, linked with decreased iron or decreased B12, and this can be the link to Graves' disease also. Another trigger is going to be stress, and stress is so linked to Graves' disease. Somehow, when you do research, it's going to show stress is one of the triggers. So this is very important how to manage stress, because we um there is so much stress in these times that we're living, and I think we all want to be dealing with the stress. And so how do we manage stress is going to be very important. So anemia, already said that that's a trigger. Here's a study that shows Graves' disease has been associated with iron deficiency. See, that's why it's very important for all of us to do these labs every year. Always check your CBC, CMP, how's your B12, how's your vitamin D. A panel of the thyroid panel will be very important. Everybody should do this once a year. Even if you don't have a doctor, there's labs that you can order yourself without having a doctor. Okay, here says Graves' disease has been associated to iron deficiency. Atrophic gastritis leads to iron deficiency anemia, and this is associated with autoimmune thyroid. So you see the digestive problems. One of the links is going to be digestion. And once you are dealing with atrophic gastritis, you're going to be dealing with leaky gut also. So it's very important to take care of your gastritis, and also take care of your leaky gut. We do that with aloe vera. We take 1 inch by 1 inch of the gel after you put it in water and leach all the bitterness. And then we take 1 by 1 inch. And also we do broth with the onion, 1 onion to 3 cups of water. You boil it for 20 minutes, and we do that every day. And that will help. But remember, we have to eat anti-inflammatory foods. So it's very important to eat plant-based, whole plant-based, anti-inflammatory, and processed foods, because all these processed things can be definitely linked to autoimmune disease, including Graves' disease. Okay, here are other triggers. It can be food sensitivities also. Usually gluten can be a big trigger for Graves' disease. And then other triggers that are common are corn, soy. Okay, I put here corn again, but it's corn, soy, oats, and it can be also yeast. So this should be yeast. So those are bigger triggers for immune in general. So avoiding those foods will be helpful. And then we have other triggers, chemical triggers, copper. Copper, I found one study that shows that copper is linked to Graves' disease. So if you're dealing with Graves' disease and you're trying to find the triggers, you probably want to check the water in your home, because the tubes, when they become old, they have lead and copper. So they're leaching the copper and lead. So that could be the triggers. And if we, of course, we drink so much water every day, that could be one of the triggers. Usually you check your copper and your lead at the city. The city, wherever you live, they check for water. And you have to choose, they give you a list of what they test. So you just have to mark it down. You pay for each one that you're marking, but we do need to find out what are the triggers. Another thing is it can be propane fumes. And, sometimes you can just turn all the propane and just to warm up the house. So that can be a lot of the fumes could be a link, or smoke out of the stove. If you warm up your house with the stove, shut the door. Once the fire is working well, just shut the little door of your stove, wood stove, because that's all this fume can be a link. It can be many other chemicals. So, but those are some common triggers. Another one, as I said before, is low B12, low vitamin D, low iron, low zinc is another one too that is common. So, in high iodine, it's very important to also check your zinc to see if it's low or it's not going to be high, probably it's going to probably low. And you have to just be sure you're eating nutritious foods because zinc is going to be, in several of the foods that we eat, but perhaps you're not eating those foods. So it's going to be important to increase your zinc intake. Iodine, yeah, we don't want to eat foods too high on iodine if you're dealing with hyperthyroidism, but you want to be sure your iodine levels are good, because even if you're dealing with hyperthyroidism, your iodine can be low. So you should take your iodine. It is a blood test that you can do. I think there is a urine test also, but the blood test is the best test for the thyroid. And so that will be a good test to do. And then if it's low, then you have to take something for it. We will talk about that. But all these need to be increased. All the if your labs are abnormal, you have to do something. I think I have in the treatment here how to do all that. Okay, here is a study showing that B12 associated with the, let's see, let's read this. Autoimmune atrophic gastritis characterized by chronic inflammation of the body, leading to decreased acidity and B12 deficiency. Okay, so in this link to autoimmune. And here it says 34% of patients with Graves' disease, yielding various anemia types such as Graves' disease anemia. So what is that? It's going to be pernicious anemia, and this is because the B12 is low and the iron is low. So that's pernicious anemia is when the B12 is low. Iron anemia is just iron anemia. It's because, your hemoglobin is going to be low. And there is another thing, autoimmune hemolytic anemia. So your red cells are linked to the hemoglobin are just wasting away too fast. It's because the fast metabolism. Okay, now we're gonna talk to the I'm gonna spend a little more time here because this is the natural remedies that we're gonna be doing when dealing with hyperthyroidism, Graves' disease. Okay, so the endocrinologists are gonna say, use the regular salt, right? Because they added iodine, and they added iodine in the levels that they wanted to help the thyroid. But some of us do not want to do it because it's processed, it's leached with unsafe way, perhaps things like that. But there is another way to keep your iodine levels. We do need 150 micrograms of iodine per day. So dulce flakes seems to be pretty good. And I believe, if we're plant-based, we do need to have something like this. You can have other seafoods to raise your iodine, but this is very simple for me. And I've been doing that myself because I think we will tend to be low on iodine, right? Because we don't eat salt that is processed. So it can be, your iodine can be low. And dulce flakes will give you the right amounts of iodine. Dulce flakes, 1 teaspoon every day. And you should do this with your meal. One meal, it'll be good to do with lunch, because you don't want to take at breakfast. At breakfast, we do flaxseed, right? Flaxseed can be goitrogenic, so it shouldn't be take the flakes and the flaxseed together. Otherwise, it's going to bind it, and it's not going to allow the iodine to raise to the normal levels. Same thing, but it can be a problem also with cruciferous. Cruciferous are goitrogenic also, but the cruciferous, what we're going to do is we're going to cook it for, you're going to cook them. So the goitrogenic effects are going to be removed once we cook it or steep it. Okay, another thing is very important to do your vitamin D. Check your vitamin D. If your vitamin D levels are low, then you're gonna take vitamin D. And we like the vitamin D to be liquid, to be organic, and to be plant-based. So because it's it's good to put it under your tongue, so you bypass the gastric, the stomach, right? It's still gonna go there, but some are gonna be absorbed under your tongue easily toward your blood. And also for the B12, we like to do the same, to be liquid, organic, and plant-based. And the vitamin D, we do it with food. So it's good to, it's a little oil usually. I like to put a full dropper, which is, I think is like, let's see, 5,000 or 10,000. Yeah, 10,000 international units. And I just like to mix it with my sweet potato. It just gives the oil effect because I don't eat oils other than that vitamin D. So it'll be good to do with that. But the B12 is good to do it with vitamin C with a little water, lemon water. It'll be very good on empty stomach. Is the best time. And then if the iron is low, it'll be good to have dates, molasa every day for your breakfast. Or you can also have the supplement that's iron liquid. So the same thing, liquid, organic, and plant-based. So they sell that. You have to do a research and check it out to qualify for that. And yeah, and that sublingual it'll be great to put under your tongue and keep it as much as you can. Some will go to your stomach, which is okay too. Other things, for example, to decrease the antibodies, the TPO antibodies, black cumin is good. 1/4 teaspoon. You can mix it with a little of water, maybe 1/4 cup of water, 2 times a day, 30 minutes before meals. So these have to be on empty stomach. It's very important to check your labs, especially if you're dealing with hyperthyroidism. Check your labs often because some people suffer of, they're dealing with this terrible hyperthyroidism, and all of a sudden they get medications for it, and all of a sudden they got super low. They got to hypo. It's a condition, I think it's thyrotoxicosis, when it goes from hyper to hypo. They say that you start with hyper and then goes to hypo. It's an attempt of the body to try to release the hormone, something like that. It's an attempt to help the body not to be hypo. And then you crash because it doesn't work. So it's very important to check your thyroid 3 and 4, because the black cumin can also decrease. So if you're going into hypo, then it would not be good. But if you're staying on the hyper side, then black cumin it'll be well, this is actually will decrease your TPO, which is good, but it can increase. Sorry, it can increase. It can increase your T3, T4. So you want to be sure, yeah, that this is not the case, okay? It, it, so just check your labs. If I'm doing things like this, I will check my labs like once a week, at least the basics, like T3, T4, TSH, to be sure you're not overdoing, underdoing, things like that, that is going to the right direction. Hyperthyroidism is kind of complicated. So we have to be very careful of what we're doing. This actually is in the medical literature, the black cumin. And then we have another thing that we will do is dandelion, 1 tablespoon dandelion tea. And this is good for the liver. If your enzymes are high, just to protect your liver. Okay, charcoal is something necessary. 1 tablespoon of charcoal in 1 cup of water. At night, this will be good before you go sleep, so it won't interfere with anything. And then charcoal poultice to the neck, to the area will be good too. The only thing you have to be careful not to put plastic because it's gonna heat it up, the thyroid hormone here, and you don't want it to heat it up because it's already hot, it's already stimulated, so you don't want to stimulate more. So you will need to put it, maybe a tape there that is not sealing the whole thing, or maybe something, a cloth in there. It's gonna be a little difficult, but charcoal poultice is very good because it's gonna remove the toxins, because there's a lot of toxicity that is the triggers are these toxicities. Another thing you're gonna do is hydration. So let's say, I'm 100 pounds, so I supposed to drink half of my weight in ounces. I supposed to drink 50 ounces a day. So I'm gonna make here the calculations. 50 dividing in 8 by 8. It's gonna be 6. So I'm supposed to be drinking six cups of water plus 1/4 cup of water. But if I'm dealing with hyperthyroidism, I will need more than that, probably about 8 cups of water, because remember, you're urinating the fluid, because the high metabolism, you're losing a lot of fluid. So it's very important to keep you hydrated. And then cook goitrogenic foods properly. For example, the cruciferous will need to be cooked for about 30 minutes. Soy is also goitrogenic, so you will probably need to avoid soy. And flaxseed is goitrogenic. So what we do is, as I said earlier, you're gonna eat it in different meals, right? So you flaxseed in the morning, which is because you have your bread with flaxseed probably, and then you take your flaxseed intake for you at breakfast. So for lunch, you will have to do your iodine foods like we mentioned earlier. Okay, now we're gonna talk about other natural remedies, about herbals. So there was a study, two people, I think, about these herbs. So I'll go to the study in a little bit. So these are very good herbs for hyperthyroidism, Graves' disease. Motherwort, 1 teaspoon. Lemon balm, 1 teaspoon. And bugleweed, 1 teaspoon. So you can make this all at once. So you put 1 teaspoon of each one. And this had to be crushed. They cannot be powder. If it's powder, then it has to be, you have to use 1/3 of the amount, right? Because it's very concentrated. And then you for each teaspoon, you heat it up with 1 cup of water. So you're gonna put 1 teaspoon of each one of these and 1 cup of water of each one. So that'll be 3 cups of water. You're gonna bring it to boil and then turn it off and just let it sit for a while. I usually like it's good to do it perhaps in the morning and then you drink it in the afternoon. You can use it as your water intake also. Count it as your water intake. Um, Motherwort, what it does, it decreases the heart rate. Really amazing to decrease the heart rate because it's so concerning when your heart rate is pumping so fast and so hard. So this is gonna help with that, and because it's a natural beta blocker. And the lemon balm decreases the TSI, which is the antibody for the thyroid, for Graves' disease. Also, it's going to help with anxiety and lower the thyroid hormones because they're going to be high. The T3, T4 are going to be high. So we want to decrease that. And then we have the bugle weed is going to decrease your TSH. Uh, no, this should increase actually. I think it's increased. I need to double check this. It increases the TSH and blocks the TSI, so blocks the antibodies. So because all these, because no, the TSH is going to be low, so it's going to increase. Yeah, this should be increased here. So all these herbs are great for Graves' disease. So here's the study that I found. Bugle weed and lemon balm inhibit stimulation of the thyroid hormone. So the TSH is gonna, okay, so let me see. Let's go back. No, TSH. No, this is good. It's gonna decrease because the TSH actually is gonna be low. But let's go back to study. Sorry, I'm a little confused with this. Okay, Bugle weed and lemon balm inhibit the stimulation of thyroid hormone. Okay, so this production to both TSH and Graves antibodies. Okay, so this is gonna decrease the antibodies of Graves disease. And so they did that in vivo studies in rats. I think they did it also in vitro, because I was reading another study. Alter extrathyroidal T conversion. Okay, so it's gonna decrease the T hormones, which is good. Okay, another thing that is good to do is gonna be the turmeric. It's gonna help calm the immune process because the immune system is very overstimulated, and the turmeric help calm that process. So we usually do 2 teaspoons once a day. And another important thing is the garlic. Is gonna help you balance the chronic infections, which we do not have, we do not want that because when the microbiome is unbalanced, is another trigger for autoimmune disease, in this case, Graves' disease. Okay, this is for palpitations and tachycardia. We already talked about the motherwort that helps for that, but the hot food bath is very good for that. And it's important that you place your legs in a 5-gallon bucket, and this is gonna be hot water, but don't burn yourself or as you tolerate. And then you're gonna finish always with cold. You keep your legs there as long as you need it to decrease your heart rate. And you're gonna have the, the little machine that they put in the finger and check your oxygen saturation, the oximeter, and wanna be checking your heart rate until the heart rate is acceptable. You keep it in the hot. And if the water is getting cold, you're gonna have to add it more hot water. Ask somebody to help you to add more hot water. And when it's acceptable, then you finish with cold water. Um, and you're gonna keep really your extremities warm. So you want to remove the heat from the trunk of your body to the extremities. So you're going to immediately put some warm socks, wool socks, put some pants that are maybe for skiing, something like that. And also you put sleeves in your arms, not the whole jacket, because you want your core temperature to go down. So you put sleeves in your arms. And so keep your extremities warm, and the core of your body keep it cold. You can put a ice behind you should keep ice behind your upper back on the sides. And so that's going to decrease the temperature, and that's going to decrease the heart rate, because that's why you want to decrease the heart rate when it's way too fast. Yeah, you should have the little device to check your heart rate, and also have that temperature that you check in your forehead. Very easy to check over every 15 minutes. Also, this is when your heart rate is really fast, and you really want to do all you can to control it, because also it's going to decrease the speed of the metabolism, which is what you wanted. And then another thing is that to control the fast heart rate also is deep breathing exercises, because stress really increases the heart rate. So take a deep breath through your nose for 4 seconds, and then you're gonna hold it, and then for a couple of seconds, and then expel the air through your nose, not through your mouth, for 6 seconds. That's what is gonna help you relax the. So you go 4 seconds and then exhale 6 seconds. Yeah, we were having a class with two dentists at our program in October, and they both were saying, breathing in can cause more stress. When you exhale is when you're relaxing more. So just go slow, 4 seconds, and then exhale for 6 seconds. And that repeat that several times, and you should do that often throughout the day to help you relax and to help you to keep your heart rate down. Okay, so that's the presentation, and I'm going to answer your questions. If you have not typed questions, just start typing them. Do you have one on hypothyroidism? Well, we have not done a class on hypothyroidism. Cumin is good for hypothyroidism because it's going to, the TSH on hypo is going to be high, and the cumin is going to decrease it, and it's also going to decrease the TPO, which is the antibody. So it's half a teaspoon of black cumin a day, and you have to divide it in two, like a 1/4 teaspoon in the morning, 1/4 teaspoon in the afternoon. It has to be 30 minutes before meals. Somebody's asking remedies for diabetes. We did a class on diabetes, so just find it one of those videos for diabetes. Yeah, we did a full class on diabetes. Yeah, and you can find all these classes again in YouTube. So this podcast for today, you can do it. You can study again. There's a lot of information. Let's see. My friends, so glad to be with you all. Yeah, thank you for coming. Okay. On Thursday we did a class how to do a cheese. And this cheese was made out of lima beans. So you can go to our same YouTube channel, and we did this class on Thursday. So it should be yesterday, probably was added yesterday. So check in there and watch the video how to do this cheese. It's more like a spread, very, very tasty for breads. I put it on my sweet potato, on my beans, on my bread. It tastes super good. I think the lima beans may make it super creamy. So you really wanna see that video. Okay, let me see. With kelp powder, work as iodine source. The problem with kelp is too high on iodine. You don't want to go way too high, because if you're dealing with hyperthyroidism, it's gonna make it worse. Kelp. So we give you the herb that you can do it, that is gonna give you the amounts needed, that we all need it every day. Does Celtic salt has iodine? Celtic salt has a little iodine. It's not gonna give you the amounts that you need it, which is, I think, I mentioned earlier, 150 micrograms a day. So you will need it a little more than kelp. Okay, I think we're done with all the questions. So, yeah, we like to train our medical missionaries, and we have a program that we train them with all the in and outs, how to recover from disease, and especially autoimmune disease, because if you can recover from autoimmune, everything else is not that complicated. So our program, because we teach people how to eat anti-inflammatory foods and processed foods. We remove also all the major foods that causes sensitivity. They're out. The food is balanced, and then we teach them how to do the protocol, which includes the how to what is the best way to have turmeric, how's the best way to have the onion or garlic, and we also like to use the skin of the orange, which is super anti-inflammatory, things like that. And we have a schedule how you can follow. You can just have that downloaded and start practicing all this, so you can teach others and help others. There is we have created a lot of little videos showing you how to do all these natural remedies also. And we like that our medical missionaries are very trained, well trained to do God's work. And so we have a special class after people that take our course are graduated. We have them, whoever wants to sign up for the membership, they sign up for a membership, and they have classes on Thursdays. So we talk about, it's a little more advanced than the basic program to recover, how to deal with different conditions, how to do the medical missionary work. And we like to invite people, to that are experts in different things, country living, um, things like that. So it's very interactive, having our medical missionaries constantly training. And what I like the most is that we have a group of people that are supporting each other, because we have also a group in Signal. All our students can go into Signal. There is a private group in Signal app where they constantly, every day, they're communicating, they're asking when they have this problem, and all the medical missionaries try to help people, not all, but whoever is available at that time. So, but there's it's a support group that are interacting throughout the day, every day. So it's so nice seeing all of us growing together and helping each other. So I want to highly encourage everybody, if you have not taken our course, to register. Our next course is gonna be in March, this month, at the 29th. And if you register now, you can get into the website with all the information that we have it. Um, and then we will start the live classes on March the 29th. So we start with a class of how to do lifestyle evaluation. And we have wonderful, very well-trained physicians that follow the health message, and they're very, very familiar with all the health message that God has given us. So I just want to encourage you, if you have not taken the course, that to sign up, and we'll be so happy to work with you and work with the group. We have a big groups that sign up each time. So I just want to invite you for that. And another update about the autism research. Dr. Juan Carlos Quispe, he's the leading doctor that is the person that brings all these materials to Loma Linda. We using the IRB of Loma Linda with one of the professors from Loma Linda. He's in charge of immunology there. So he's our IB in charge. But then we have Dr. Juan Carlos that's doing most of the job. And then we are all, putting all the pieces together, things like that. So he told me he wants to put all the documents next week, apply with all the documents next week. So hopefully this happened. He was sick last week, so we're having these delays, but I'm just hoping that this will happen very soon. But that's all for today. And let me see if there is no more questions. Okay, somebody's asking, would mineral supplement source? Okay, which one? For B12, Garden of Life is great. It's a liquid, is also plant-based, and it's organic. For vitamin, let's see. So that will be for that. And okay, for the seaweed that I mentioned earlier, I get it on Azure Standard. Very highly recommended in Azure Standard. I love using Azure Standard. If they have it, they're really very health conscious using whatever they use there. Okay, let me see if there is more questions. Okay, use turmeric, garlic, onion of ulcerative colitis or immune issue. Do you use? Yeah, we do. We do. You have to be careful though, because if it's causing pain when you eating it, like let's say the garlic, then you're not ready, especially if it's raw. So you might need to do the tea. We do garlic and onion broth together. Usually people that do not tolerate the raw because they have, raw intestine or raw stomach. So we avoid that until that is all taken care, and then they can start doing the garlic, raw garlic. So in the meantime, we use the broths. Let's see. Adzuki, beans, lentils, avocado, spinach, soybeans, sprouts, green lentils, beans are foods for zinc. Okay, that's good. We don't use tofu, but we can avocado. It'll be great for zinc. Lentils, we do a lot of lentils, spinach too. Green peas, we do that. Lima beans, we do it. Great for zinc. Thank you, Denise. Yes. Yeah. For the foods that we have in our protocol, they're very high on zinc. So when people check their zinc, they usually good. Okay, so no more questions. I'm gonna finish with a word of prayer. So okay, next Sabbath, I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I'm gonna start a program. Okay, we do have a program next Sabbath. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much because you have all the answers for everything. We just want to ask you that we all come to you for wisdom to know what to do. Just want to ask you to guide us. Seems that things are gonna get more and more difficult, but um, we can. The great thing is that we are so grateful that we can rely on you. So I just wanna ask you that everybody that's hearing this program and they want to learn more and more about simple things, that you please give us more knowledge. And we thank you so much for all you're doing. In Jesus' name, amen. One thing I forgot, I didn't talk about medications. Follow with your practitioner uh, to know, you have to make a decision what way you want to uh, go. And sometimes medication might be necessary until you start, improving your health and removing the triggers till you no longer need medication. So that is the goal. And thank you so